The storm on Clyra 7 was unlike anything Ethan Cole had ever seen in his years of wandering alien worlds. A roiling sky of green and violet lightning tore open the horizon, casting jagged shadows over the canyon cliffs. He had taken shelter in the ruins of a collapsed dome, a fragment of some forgotten settlement. His ship was grounded by the storm's electromagnetic fury, and for now he was stranded. He leaned against the cold alloy wall, listening to the wind scream across the barren landscape. It was then, through the distortion of the rain-slicked air, that he noticed movement. Small figures, delicate, almost fragile, emerged from the canyon's edge. At first, Ethan thought his senses were playing tricks on him. They were children unmistakably, though not human. Their large black eyes glowed faintly in the storm's light, their limbs slender, their skin pale with a bluish hue. 6 of them, no taller than a human child of 10 years old, huddled together in the gale. One of them, the bravest, raised a trembling hand and pointed toward him. "Please," a thin voice called, warped by the translator pinned to Ethan's wrist. "Help us." Ethan's breath caught. He had spent years across the stars, seen empires rise and fall, but he had never heard a plea that sounded so desperate, so innocent. He motioned them quickly inside the broken dome, shielding them from the storm. The beginning. The girls shivered in silence, their strange garments soaked through. Their eyes darted around nervously, like prey that had run too far from the predator's den. "Where are your parents?" Ethan asked gently, kneeling to their level. The leader, the one who had spoken, hesitated. "Gone. Taken." The others whimpered at the word. Ethan frowned. "Taken by who?" They exchanged glances, as if unsure whether to trust him. At last, the leader whispered, "The Harvesters." Ethan knew the name. Everyone in this quadrant of space did. The Harvesters weren't a species so much as a machine empire, an unstoppable swarm that abducted and repurposed living beings into biomechanical slaves. Entire colonies had vanished overnight under their shadow. He exhaled slowly, piecing the story together. "You escaped." The leader nodded. "Our village was burned. They wanted us too. But we hid and ran." Their voices cracked under the weight of memory. Ethan felt a twist in his chest. These weren't just refugees. They were the last survivors of a world about to vanish forever. The girls stared at him with wide, unblinking eyes. One of them, smaller than the rest, tugged at his sleeve. "You are human," she said softly. "Humans fight the Harvesters. We heard stories." Ethan swallowed. The truth was complicated. Humanity had fought, yes, but rarely won. Still, in their eyes, he was more than a stranded wanderer. He was hope itself. The middle. The storm raged for 2 days. During that time, Ethan scavenged food packs and thermal blankets from his grounded ship, sharing them with the children. Slowly, they began to trust him. He learned their names, or at least the closest translation his wristband could manage. Ilani, the leader, Saris, the smallest, Vera and Keelan, twin sisters with endless curiosity, and 2 others quiet and watchful, named Rin and Tessa. Each night, when the storm wailed, the girls curled close together, whispering in their melodic tongue. Ethan pretended not to hear, but fragments drifted through the translator. Memories of their home, laughter that once echoed in fields of crystal grass, songs their mothers used to sing. It pained him deeply, for he knew those places were ash now. On the 3rd morning the storm cleared. From the dome's broken walls, Ethan saw a new danger. Drones, black and insectal, skimming the canyon floor. The Harvesters had tracked them. Ethan cursed under his breath and hurried the girls toward his ship. The electromagnetic interference had lessened, and with some effort, he managed to restart the engines. The vessel shuddered to life, old but reliable. The children stared wide-eyed as the ship lifted off, piercing through ragged clouds. Ethan's course was simple: get as far as possible, then figure out where to hide them. But the harvesters were relentless. Within hours, a patrol ship locked onto their trajectory. Red lights flared across Ethan's dashboard. "Strap in," he barked, guiding the girls into safety harnesses. His hands flew across the controls, weaving the ship through asteroid debris. The enemy vessel gave chase, hurling plasma fire that seared the darkness. The children screamed, clutching each other. Ethan gritted his teeth, pushing the thrusters beyond safety limits. "Hold together, old girl," he muttered to the ship. With a final desperate maneuver, he cut engines and drifted into the shadow of a massive asteroid. The Harvester patrol passed by, unable to detect their silent vessel. Ethan waited until his pulse steadied before reigniting the drive. The girls stared at him as though he had parted the stars themselves. Ilani's voice trembled. "You saved us." "Don't thank me yet," Ethan said grimly. "They'll be back. They always come back." They wandered for days across desolate star systems, always staying ahead of the harvesters. Along the way, Ethan grew close to the children. Vera and Keelan peppered him with questions about Earth, a world they could scarcely imagine. Saris climbed into his lap while he piloted, watching the cosmos roll by with innocent wonder. But Ethan knew he couldn't keep running forever. His resources were dwindling. The harvesters would eventually corner them. One night, while the children slept in the cargo hold, Ethan sat alone in the cockpit, staring at a star map. There was one place, dangerous but possible: Haven's Reach. Haven's Reach was a hidden refuge, a secret colony where survivors of countless species gathered to rebuild. It was heavily shielded and fiercely protected, but nearly impossible to find unless you knew the path. Ethan had been there once, years ago. It was their only chance. The turning point. The journey to Haven's Reach required passing through the Veil Nebula, a chaotic storm of ionized gas and magnetic anomalies. Even seasoned pilots avoided it, but Ethan had no choice. As they entered the nebula, the ship rattled violently. Lightning arced across the hull. The children cried out, but Ethan steadied his voice. "Hold tight. I won't let anything happen to you." For hours he fought the storm, guiding the vessel through clouds of fire and shadow. At last, a glimmer appeared, a station camouflaged within the nebula's heart. Ships of a dozen species patrolled nearby. Haven's Reach. But the harvesters were already there. A fleet of black warships loomed, surrounding the refuge. Their attack had begun. Explosions flared across the nebula as defenders clashed with the invaders. Ethan's blood ran cold. Haven's Reach was supposed to be untouchable. If it fell, there would be no sanctuary left in this quadrant. Ilani clutched his arm. "We cannot go closer. They will kill us." Ethan looked at her, at all of them, and felt a surge of resolve. He had run from the harvesters before. Everyone had. But now, with these children depending on him, he realized he could no longer run. He opened the weapons console. The ship was old, underarmed, hopeless against a fleet. But it had one trick left: a self-guided quantum torpedo, powerful enough to pierce even harvester armor. He set a course toward the largest enemy vessel, their command ship. "Climax! Strap in!" Ethan shouted. "This is going to be rough."